Okay, so Willow and I are going to take you along and show you a recent project that is way out there and you can't even see it from here. Miss Willow, you ready? Come on. Now, one of the things, I wanted this tree in the center of the trunks of the crepe myrtles. I don't know if it's exactly where I wanted it to be, but you know what? It's where it's going to be now. It ain't getting moved. So you will recognize this little conifer. I had it in a pot. It was a Christmas tree that I would bring indoor. It was not doing well. So Thomas helped me plant it this morning, and I'm just going to water it in well. Okay, so it has been well watered. Hopefully it will be a lot happier in the ground than it was in that pot. We will have to wait and see. Miss Willow's way back there at the house. She did not want to come out. So I wanted to show you when I took off the pot at the bottom where the water reservoir used to be before it was cracked and it wouldn't hold water. You can see it just holds very small amounts. The roots have just gone wild. So let's see how I can get this out without disturbing as many roots as possible. Alright, and on to project number 2 today. So you will see, sorry, I keep forgetting I gotta turn you landscape. I gotta turn you landscape. You will see there is a gap between the beds where Kevin and Thomas put them along the fence for me. I don't mind that. Hey Willow, hey Chrisanne. So in the gap I just set a tomato plant. I think this is like a Sweet 100. Anyway, I set it there. You can see the deer ate the top of it across the board. Just as far as the deer could lean its head over the fence, it ate every single piece. Which is fine, I'm not going to get too upset about it. But I did notice when I moved this that the pot was cracked. It is no longer retaining water in the water reservoir. So, my wonderful husband made this bed for me this morning. This is from scraps left over where I had all of these beds put together. And I do love these metal raised beds, but depending on who you buy them from on Amazon, I got most of these on Amazon on sale. They didn't send all the parts. So just kind of tell you what I ended up with. I ended up with like various pieces and parts, because what I did is I took multiple kits and put them together to be able to make as many full beds as I could. But then I ended up with like this little half circle, which I just kind of butted up against this raised bed right here, and it's fine. It's got my calla lilies, it's got some nasturtiums, it's got some zinnias in there. That's going to be fine. But then I had these odd pieces that I didn't know what to do with. And when Thomas and Kevin cut the legs off the raised beds, it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. I've got these 4 pieces of metal raised bed that I don't have anything else to do with. Let's put them together with the legs of the beds. And I think it's perfect. Nice and deep. think it'll be great for that tomato plant right there. And I did bring some cardboard to put down to deal with the weeds and the grass. Now, I did not cut the legs off the proper height. I didn't do that intentionally. So when I lived in Garner, North Carolina area, I made a bed myself. I did not have the skills at the time to use the saw. I could now, but what I ended up doing is just putting it together and leaving some tall posts, and it ended up being great because the tall post gave me something to affix, something too that I could let the plant climb up. So what I'm going to use for that is, this is a trellis previous owner left here, was rusted. I just took some bright yellow Rust-Oleum and spray painted it. So I'm going to use that and that natural cotton twine to tie that tomato plant up once I get it replanted and repotted. All right, let's get to it. What do you think, Willow? You think the deer will still get to it? I know, I agree with you. Chrissy, what do you think? Did we do a good job? Willow, you think we ought to put... I see what you're saying. I think that's a great idea. Let's do that. So we will take, because this tomato is already at the top of the fence post, so we are going to take this bright yellow trellis and we're going to put it on the outside of the fence to see if that'll be more height to keep the deer from getting to it. All right, Willow, we're coming. So there is a hummingbird moth on my butterfly bush. I think you can see it. It's a big insect. Willow, let me see if I can get closer to it. Can you get down? Alright, sorry about that. To the tomato plant just by reaching over the fence. It is into the ground, but we get high winds around here. So I'm going to take a couple of pieces of that cotton twine and tie it to the fence just to give it some extra stability. So this is a gas or electric. This is human powered. It's an old school rotary lawnmower. And it does a lot better when the grass isn't as tall. Alright, I'm going to cut you off and I'm going to finish this and get this done because I'm hoping it's going to rain. We've got rain clouds. Let's hope we get some rain. Hey Willow. Hey Chrissy Ann. Alright, let's go show everyone why Mama having just a table for her cut flowers for the community outreach. is not a good idea, but it's all we've got, so we make do. Hey Raleigh, you wanna go with us? Go ahead, Raleigh. So I do have the table positioned up underneath a crepe myrtle, so it's in the shade, which is good. But it being just a table with no protection from the wind, this is what happens a lot. So you can see that entire vase just fell over and all the flowers are on the ground. I'm gonna try this again in landscape instead of portrait. I apologize about that. The hand push lawnmower has been put away. I'm done with this for the day. My goal was to get the grass along the walk path low enough to where when I wear my flip-flops, the grass doesn't get up all over my ankles. And I would say mission accomplished. Now this is way too much for me to want to hand push and mow this. Plus it's too thick. It would get clogged down and bogged down. Let's check out the hardy hibiscus real quick, see if it's blooming yet. It is not. So this is a hardy hibiscus that is inside the fence. The deer has left this one alone, thank goodness. And it is full of blooms. Those with the wind whipping. Again, we've got clouds, we've got wind. I am hopeful for a nice rainstorm because everything could use some water. That Patesia is just going crazy and looking so good. Okay, so here is the finished product. You can see that I topped it off with a little bit more soil. That's topsoil, organic tomato fertilizer, and a little bit of compost mixed in. So that tomato should be very happy. And you can see that it's probably a foot deep planter, plus once it gets through the cardboard, it's got the ground to access. So that plant should be very happy. And we use Miss Willow's idea of putting the trellis on the outside, which should prevent the deer from reaching over and eating the tops of the tomatoes. We'll have to wait and see. Sometimes those deers are pretty tenacious. I missed it. There was a bee on my Snapdragon I was going to show you. Oh well. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. But more important, I think we're going to get some good tasting tomatoes off that. And I wanted to show you my sunflower starting to open up. That bed is always beautiful. All right, let's wrap this one up and start the next chore.